Mitch Kupchak had this to say at a media availability post-lottery. I don't think that we are where we need to be from a talent level, but we've got a lot more talent than we did 2 or 3 years ago. So I think that we can be a little bit picky and take into consideration not only overall talent, but position. Oh my gosh. The Hornets won 27 games and they're thinking about drafting for position. This cannot be a thing.
That's
That's the most terrifying statement that I've heard post lottery in a long time. Anyway, the Hornets have a very interesting decision to make at
Does that mean
number
they're
two overall
drafting
pick.
another center? Does that
Yeah,
mean they're drafting? They do love center.
right. Uh, LaMelo is their best player, their franchise cornerstone. But the player that's largely considered the second best player in the draft is Scoot Henderson, who is also a point guard. So, Jay, who would you go with if you're the Hornets? Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller, perhaps a wild card with Ahmed Thompson? Where are you going?
I would go with whoever I think is the best. Unlike Mitch
Wait, you're not
Kupchak.
you're not drafting for a position at two? Wow.
No,
Wow, they're ready to
no,
go, Jay. They're ready to go.
absolutely not. However, the person I think is the best in that spot is Brandon Miller. And
Oh,
I guess part of it is the position that he plays. It's more that he's 6'9", 6'10", has immense defensive versatility, can shoot, has some off the dribble game already, and he's very young. And guys at that size tend to develop that part of the game later on. I just think he's the prototype of guy that wins you games deep in the playoffs when you need the 6'10" guy to just shut down another team, get rebounds, run your offense. Those are the guys that win today. It's the super quality wings, the guys with tons of size. It's not the point guards who can't shoot. And Scoot Henderson is awesome. He's got like some Derrick Rose to him. He's
Yeah,
built like a Hall of Fame football player. He
it's
just
insane.
just shredded.
it's
He looks like
crazy.
Shemi Ojale for those aware of the former Celtics
Uh,
draft pick.
let's hope he shoots
Yes.
better than Semi Ojale.
SMU great. Shemi
But
Ojale.
but to have a point guard built like Shemi Ojale is insane.
Yeah.
And there's a chance. And look, like Derrick Rose won a lot of games. Russell Westbrook won a lot of games. You don't have to be an elite shooter to be a great player at the point guard position. I just think Brandon Miller has the same ceiling or a similar ceiling to Scoot Henderson, and also has a higher floor because of the size and the shooting that he has already.
Yeah, I think it is very close between Scoot and Brandon Miller. I'm also bold enough to say if you have the number 2 overall pick, you should just take the best player on the board. And I probably lean a little bit more towards Scoot, just to be honest. I think just having an explosive playmaker who can get into the lane and create, I think is really valuable in today's NBA. So I probably lean Scoot. But I do also think it's a very interesting situation for Charlotte because we're not just speaking in a vacuum here. We're talking about a team that has a Miles Bridges situation going on. And now you're bringing in Brandon Miller and some of the baggage he has with him coming from Alabama. I think that's maybe added to your consideration if you're Charlotte. You already got to answer Miles Bridges questions. Now you got to answer some Brandon Miller questions as well. I think that might factor into their decision here. Again, like I said earlier, you got a LaMelo situation. What does his future look like? How excited is he about signing an extension in Charlotte? Maybe you give yourself some insurance by drafting Scoot Henderson and you're more willing to move on from LaMelo Ball in the future if you have another point guard of the future. So Charlotte, I think, is in a very tough position because I do think it's really close between Brandon Miller and Scoot. Like I said, I probably lean Scoot, but there's a lot to consider for Charlotte. And I think they're less excited than most teams will be in their position just because they got a lot of baggage to deal with right now. And I'm not sure how to handle it if I was in their position, because, of course, you want the talent of Miles Bridges on your team, but there's a lot going on there. And I think that factors in the other decisions you make around him when you have a situation like that. That can be really nasty, and there are probably gonna be more details coming about that in the future, and how you handle that is going to be very difficult for that franchise.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions for the Hornets. I think I go Scoot. I think that you can play those two together, he and LaMelo. I think that they both Scoot played off the ball some for the Ignite, and then I think LaMelo with his shooting can play off ball, but. Again, they missed out on Anthony Davis. I think that they were hopeful back then, and they got the number 2 pick. Let's just don't Michael Kidd-Gilchrist this draft. Like, you just got to get somebody good, and I think Scoot.
Kidd-Gilchrist was okay for a little while.
Was he?
Yeah. His shot was never beautiful.
History.
It was never beautiful. It was so broke.
Yeah, there it is. It's just I can't. We should.
I literally can't even
Gilchrist today. Yeah,
I've had this stance in the past. I miss the old days where guys had ugly jumpers in the NBA.
It's true.
It feels like everybody's got like they're a shooting coach on the side now, and they got the perfect elbow tucked. I miss the Sean Marion days.
Yeah.
The Chuck Hayes ugly free throw. I miss just having those unique looking jump shots in the league. Now everybody wants to shoot like Steph or Clay. Bring back ugly jump shots.
Who's got the ugliest jump shot now?
Oh, Mason Plumlee, hands down. It's not even close.
Yeah,
true. He goes lefty now too. That's despicable.
It's nasty looking.
Yeah. But what about a guard? Like even some of the guys who used to be good shooters who would have funky form, like Kevin Martin.
Yeah, that's another good one.
His
form.
Yeah, his shot looked like an elephant trunk. I don't even know how he did it.
Peja's was beautiful, but it was like he shot it from like this. Reggie Miller, obviously, one of the finest examples of just weird shooting form.
It's just another way that Steph has ruined the game. Steph has ruined the game just with beautiful shooting.